Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lipke here with Through Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. And today we're going to take a look at the Heavy Gear Blitz Tabletop Board Gaming Living Beta rules. One of the things that is unique about these rules is there are sections of the rulebook that contain alpha. Now we're going to just switch over to a different view so I can flip through the book and share with you some of the things, so I'm not going like this and looking like a fool. But if you haven't seen them yet, or you've been hesitant to download them, I took the time because some of the fans that are my fans on Heavy Gear forums and wherever, they just find me on YouTube, hit me up on Facebook. They've requested that I chat a little bit about the living rulebook. The rules haven't changed terribly much, but what the living rulebook does is it includes things like the alpha rules, and it expanded greatly upon the tabletop role-playing game rules that were released last year at Gen Con. And when I say greatly, it adds things like, well, we'll get into that. So give me a second, we're going to switch views and we're going to pop back and we're going to chat a little bit about why I like or dislike the book. As I said, we're going to take a quick look at the Heavy Gear Tabletop Wargaming Living Beta Rulebook. As I mentioned before, this is something that I printed out because I wanted to share it with my Heavy Gear fans and anybody who's interested in becoming a Heavy Gear fan and isn't familiar with the concept of the living rulebook. Now, this was printed out before the most recent update. This was actually printed out about 10 days ago, and it's taking me that long to get to it. Basically, we're going to cover, like, very first thing you might notice if you're familiar with the beta rulebook is that the table of contents has changed up a little bit. There are differences in this book, and one of the bigger differences is that they have a certain amount of storyline content in the very beginning of the book that wasn't included in the original book. I think that overall the flow of the rules is better, and I certainly like it bigger on the 8.5 by 11. Personally, I printed it out honestly because I hate PDFs. I just don't feel like I'm reading anything when I have a PDF. But the charts are much cleaner. This is an edition, a new edition, the different size bases, which is great for the new Heavy Gear fan, or heck, even a new gamer gets an idea of the different size bases by looking at this chart. This was all that was in the original book. And they've added more images. I'm pretty sure that this picture was not in the original rulebook. So the living rulebook is really a good idea in my opinion. It does things, it cleans up a lot of things, and since it's a free PDF, you know, there's no excuse for anyone to at least try the rules if they're somewhat interested, or download them and just look at them and see if they like it. You can see that they've added things like the different tokens. And another big thing that they added is in the back of the book that I like. Well, actually, even some of the charts and diagrams they cleaned up a little bit in my opinion. I think these are a lot easier to read. But as you move back into, the very back of the book where you start getting into well, actually, wait, even before that, where is it? Before you get too carried away, they have included, which they included them in the back of the rule book as well, but with the living rule book, you can print these out separately. Here you go. You get your force record sheet, blanks that you can print out to make your armies and your subgroups and your combat groups. You also get, a couple pages later, you get a sample of one on how to fill it out. And you have, it's pretty simple, straightforward type of thing. You got your Jaguar, Command Officer, Headhunter gear, and then over here you have your threat values and stuff, and your total threat value. But what I like the most about this book is because even though I've been covering Heavy Gear now for about 3 years, I still consider myself a rookie to the game and the universe and the knowledge of the universe, is this right here. They have included images of every single gear that they have, and a lot of these are actual gears. If they're not gears, they're the concept art for what the gear is going to look like. There are a couple of them that I believe are blank, like that one, and they give you like a silhouette. But I believe this is going to be one of the greatest assets to the living rulebook, because, I mean, as you're flipping through here and you look at all these different models, you're like, wow, what's what? And it's real easy not to remember what these things are. You know, and they do that for every faction as they move through them. You know, so they have. And another thing that they included that I'm very happy with is nope, not that one. Although I am happy about Lances of Destiny, is they include the Leagueless factions again, which probably right here. Daggers and Inception. New co-models, which we can get into. But I was a very big fan of Leagueless. Before they went into the beta rules, I was creating with a friend of mine a couple thousand points to play, so we could play an all-day game at Origins and different conventions that are local to the Canton, Ohio area. But that's basically, you know, I just wanted to share it with you. It is a massive book now. 226 pages compared to the original, I believe, 191. Don't quote me on that. I don't have a copy handy down here. They're all upstairs. And like I said, I think it reads better. There was one more thing. Where'd it go? See, I should have marked all these things. Well, of course, you get the different charts, the appendixes and the reference tables. That is one thing that I liked about the PDF. Being able to print them out in a full size is very helpful. Any player can take the time and make effectively a GM screen for role-playing with these charts, cut, copy, paste, or whatever. This is actually, these tokens, the game tokens are actually a separate PDF as well that you can print out. And then one of the things I liked a lot about the appendix was they had the common unit availability codes and the different terminologies. They had a glossary of definitions. Of course, they have the weapons chart, and they have a weapons table, which again can be a great reference tool, and all the different weapons traits and model traits are in the appendixes. And I like the bigger size that it's printed in, and I wish, I mean, again, I don't recommend anybody goes ahead and pays to have this printed, because this cost me about $65 to do. Books are not cheap, and if you don't have the ability to do it on your own, it's going to be quite pricey. If I had the money to spend for a $200 book, I probably would have done it in full color for all of you. Again, like I said, I did this just to share with the fans so they could get an idea of what the Living Beta Rulebook is like before they download it from Drive-Thru RPG. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Enjoy this. Please check out my Kickstarter. It's almost fully funded at this point. I'm at somewhere around 70 to 80%, depending on what's going on today. And I hope to be able to do that Heavy Gear Week, so check it out. Check out everything I've done. There'll be a link up here for the last, 4 years of Heavy Gear. That includes everything from videos to news releases, and you can see that I do a lot of Heavy Gear stuff. And if you're in the Canton, Ohio area, Akron, Ohio area, you know, give me an email, let me know. We'll get together and play games. You already have a good idea of what I like and don't like about the book. I really regret printing it out now because it cost me a lot of money and it's already been updated. So I don't suggest that you print it out, but I suggest that you do grab the PDF. It is free. I mean, you know, if you are a Heavy Gear fan, or if you're thinking about being a Heavy Gear fan, you can't go wrong with free, right? You just can't. So please share this video, share it with your friends, share it with anybody who thinks it is. If you have a website or a blog, embed it on your website so that you can share what you love as your passion, which is Heavy Gear, I hope, with your friends and those that are interested. The more that we spread the word, the more we do things like this, the more likely Heavy Gear is to stick around and become a super successful game. And I would love to meet you guys at some of the cons in the future, and actually I'd like to crush your gears. So anyway, yeah, crush, not grind. I grind my own gears. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a good day.